In May of 2018, it was a day we all remember. The Avengers and Fortnite took over the world. Thanos would roam the island wreaking chaos and kickstarting 6 years of Marvel in Fortnite. This journey has brought us through many ups and downs together, but the endgame LTM proved this game would be different. Epic wanted to do things differently, and the mode became team-based. Now you could help Thanos by playing as his Shatari warriors, while one person got to wield the Infinity Gauntlet. His job was to collect all 6 Infinity Stones. Of course, on the other team, we weren't helpless anymore. Fortnite added the first ever superhero items just for this mode, giving us Avengers buried treasure that led players straight to a power. Whether it was Cap's shield, Iron Man's repulsors, Hawkeye's bow, or Thor's Stormbreaker, fans went crazy over this. There was nothing else like it at the time, and when beating Thanos, we got our tribute for Stan Lee, who had just passed away.
Excelsior!
Everyone did have one issue with these modes. Fortnite's letting us play as Thanos, yet we could only buy rip-off superheroes. We needed the real deal, and that's when Epic dropped the first ever Marvel skins. You see, back in Chapter 1, these were considered outfits, as in default characters dressed as superheroes. So when Black Widow and Star-Lord arrived, the puzzle began to form on how different the future of this game would be. When 2020 rolled around, we were shocked to check out the Season 2 Battle Pass and find Wade Wilson in the bathroom. He was officially the secret skin, getting his own room with Easter eggs. I mean, sure it was a bathroom, but at least he got a computer, and we could look around it, letting us play a secret skiing minigame. Then, on the day he finally released, Deadpool took over the item shop in his iconic fashion. You know what's crazy? To this day, it's still the only time a collab has ever done this. Deadpool was truly a milestone for Marvel crossovers, especially when he brought his own mythic dualies to the map and took over a POI. To mark the occasion, Fortnite even threw in his team, X-Force, bringing Cable, Domino, and Psylocke to the item shop. So at this point, Marvel was starting to make a huge impact on the game, and in the background, Epic were cooking up their riskiest decision ever. With the reveal of Captain America, they started with their first hint. It was extremely subtle, but in the background, fans noticed Cap arrived through Bifrost. There's only one way this could have happened: Thor. That's when players noticed something else. Back in game, a small crater appeared, left behind by none other than Thor's hammer. And in the days leading up to the next season, something brand new appeared in the lobby: a comic book. Every 24 hours, a new page would appear, telling the story of Galactus discovering the island. It was all in preparation for one mind-blowing announcement. Yes, an entire season dedicated to Marvel. Not only was the Battle Pass full of superheroes, we were treated to a dozen mythic items and a whole biome of Marvel POIs. Every week, Epic would even hand us more characters in the item shop before dropping the biggest update of all, Stark Industries. This huge POI would serve as the center of Marvel's storyline, giving us tons of loot, challenges, and of course, the live event teaser. Hidden in Stark's research lab, you could find a whiteboard that showed he was analyzing the battle bus. All of this was in preparation for our craziest villain in Fortnite, of course the one we all knew was heading to the island, Galactus. Except the comics weren't the only way we knew. All we had to do was look up. In the distance, there he was flying directly towards us, and within a couple of weeks, he was frighteningly close. With just days to go until the end of the season, it's all we could think about. But luckily, heading back to Stark's lab, we could find upgraded battle buses just in time to defeat him.
We gotta stop Galactus from eating the 0 point. You are free, right? Oh, he's getting right to it. Okay, energy readings are going berserk. I hacked your time loop thingy, made a few billion battle bus clones, and then turned them all into very powerful bombs. We need to get Galactus to eat as many buses as possible before he's done with the 0 point.
This is not possible!
You did it! Thank you, bus driver.
From this point forward, Marvel was officially a huge deal in Fortnite. No other collab had gotten this treatment, and fans had learned to accept it was just part of the game now. To make it even crazier, if you spend money during this time, you get 2 months of Disney Plus for free. You would think, after an entire season, Epic would slow down on dropping the characters, and yet in just the month of December, we had 3 more superheroes in store for us. The most important of which was, of course, Black Panther. And to pay tribute to Chadwick Boseman, Epic put together a touching trailer. A beautiful way to close out the year. But it wouldn't be long before we met our favorite characters again, as players soon noticed the portal opening on the Season 5 map. Looking inside, they saw a massive forest from the perspective of an ant. This was teasing his eventual release as an outfit, which fans have been wanting for months at this point. During the Marvel season, we got to visit Ant Manor, yet Scott was nowhere to be found. Until now. It's not the longest we had waited for a skin. That would be someone who we had known about for years, the guy who began all of this. I'm of course talking about Thanos. We've been able to play as the terrifying villain multiple times, and yet he was also extremely tall. Some would argue too tall for a Fortnite skin, which explained why he never released in the item shop. Lucky for us, after waiting until 2021, Epic finally delivered on their promise, giving us the chance to play as Thanos permanently. And the best part, if you did the Chapter 1 Snap emote, it included an amazing Easter egg. So while Marvel embedded itself into the Battle Pass, it also wanted to make its way into Fortnite's latest venture, the Crew Pack, with an exclusive character, Loki. This was the exact same time as Disney Plus show was premiering, and they bounced off the hype with an MCU skin. Now, if you remember Star-Lord being the first Marvel outfit, he was one of the only members of the Guardians to appear in Fortnite. The worst part, he hadn't been seen since his release in 2018. It was kinda nuts, he was actually considered rare. Luckily for players, they only had to wait until 2021 before his return. And alongside him, we got a new member of the Guardian set, Gamora. Some fans were disappointed this was the comic book version, hoping to see the MCU Gamora instead. But this would be a trend that continued for the rest of the year. It started with Shang-Chi, one of the most controversial Marvel skins in Fortnite. Everyone was excited for this, especially with how popular the movie was. I mean, after seeing those insane fights, who wouldn't want to play as him? But it's only to check the item shop and discover a random dude with a comic book costume. Needless to say, it was pretty disappointing considering this was meant to be promoting the MCU film. Oh hey, Sony's characters have to be from the movies because Marvel owns the rights to the comic versions. So, when they partner with Fortnite to bring Venom to the game, it's the one we all know and love from the films, including Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock. Now that was cool. To make it even better, a familiar villain appeared in the season's Battle Pass. Of course, this also included Carnage and Venom's mythics, which were now in game for anyone to use. You could grab enemies from a mile away and drag them straight to you, a busted feature that was abused by everyone.
Yoink!
balanced gameplay item.
But it was at this point that Donald Mustard started to make the weirdest tweets ever. Fans scratched their head at him talking about the perfect pair of jeans and how he misses his comfy pair. Like, what are you talking about? That's until 9 days later when it all made sense, as Jean Grey made her way to the island, the first X-Men character since the Marvel season. There was someone getting teased for even longer. One of the best parts of the Marvel theme was how the helicarrier became Spawn Island. And when players visited the control room, they noticed the very iconic eye patch on the desk. We had no idea we'd have to wait exactly 1 year for Nick Fury to show up. In the storyline, he was called in to help fight against the Cubes, but most people were just excited to have him here. They would quickly forget all about him though, not realizing the most anticipated Marvel skin of all time was right around the corner. With the introduction of Chapter 3, fans were already excited to check the Battle Pass. We just weren't expecting to be greeted by everyone's favorite web slinger.
Hey everyone.
Getting a skin was one thing, but we were also about to receive the greatest mythic in Fortnite history, Spidey's web shooters.
Oh, you can just use them. Oh, does it have to attach something? Whee!
Fans literally said it had better web swinging mechanics than the actual Avengers game. At this point, Epic knew Spider-Man was way too popular to be locked in a battle pass. They needed something that could make money for years to come. So they worked on an amazing Christmas present for fans, and let's just say no one was expecting this to happen.
Another hero has arrived on the island. Could it be? It's me, the one and only.
Well, I give you this. You sure know how to make an entrance.
Haha, very funny.
Tom Holland and Zendaya in Fortnite felt like a dream come true, especially when you could choose between masked and unmasked Spidey. And so to round out the year, Fortnite decided to promote the latest Marvel series, Hawkeye. Not only did they bring Clint Barton to the shop, but Kate Bishop was able to join him. And while the skins were obviously based on the show, they couldn't get the rights to the faces. But let's be honest, fans are still riding the hype of Spider-Man and the insane characters in No Way Home. Sadly, we weren't getting Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire anytime soon, but we did get the most iconic villain from the film, Green Goblin. We could excuse the fact it was a comic-inspired design because of how incredible his glider was. Now, it was 2022, and one of the most legendary X-Men duos was about to drop. Rogue and Gambit were here just in time for Valentine's Day, and fans loved it. This was the year where Epic would serve true justice, handing us the countless Marvel superheroes that players have wanted for years. It started with Doctor Strange and the Prowler. It was pretty weird that we got the Prowler before Miles Morales, but we were holding out hope, especially when you realized how long we could be waiting for a skin. WandaVision was the very first Marvel Disney Plus show, and yet it was only now in 2022 that Scarlet Witch joined Fortnite. It was to celebrate her huge role in the latest Doctor Strange film, and lucky for us, the skin was exact to her MCU design. And Fortnite finally got around to giving the comic Spider-Man his own partner. Mary Jane Watson made her way to the shop alongside the latest Disney Plus promotion, Moon Knight. And can I just say, this might be one of the most detailed Marvel skins ever made. No one was expecting this to drop. Even leakers had no idea it was coming, and to this day, it still holds up. Knowing this was the potential Marvel skins could have, Fortnite got to work redesigning classic outfits. Until now, we only had comic book Thor, but it was time for an MCU-inspired pack, giving us Love and Thunder outfits, which even included Jane Foster and a Stormbreaker pickaxe. There was just one problem: Stormbreaker was exclusive to Thor, which made zero sense. But years ago, we literally watched Fishstick holding it, so what's the deal? And so after huge backlash from fans, Epic rightfully made this pickaxe accessible to everyone. This is where the skins started to become insane. Moon Knight and Scarlet Witch were already incredibly accurate, but nothing compared to our first outfit from the Spider-Verse, Gwen Stacy. In-game, she looked identical to the films, despite the fact they're animated. But her emote even had a secret. If you used it while wearing Spider-Gwen, it would play at 24 FPS, just like the frame rate of the film. Then, out of nowhere, X-23 joined us with a unique quirk: foot claws.
Nice.
It was at this moment Marvel started to incorporate a feature that DC had already perfected with Fortnite. They created the real-life tie-in comic known as Zero War, and here superheroes worked together with Fortnite's storyline characters and even influenced the live events. To make it feel even more immersive, we got the exact designs from the comics in-game. Let us play as Spider-Man Zero, Wolverine Zero, and the weirdest one of all, Iron Man Zero, which was basically a Hulkbuster ripoff. Pretty ironic considering who would come next. As Chapter 4 rolled in, we finally got one of the OG Avengers, someone who was previously never possible as an outfit. Thanks to the invention of extra-large skins, Hulk was finally available in Fortnite, just in time for 2023. Little did we know, we were being spoiled. 2023 was the slowest year ever for Marvel, giving us just 2 collabs. In February, we were introduced to Sam Wilson's Captain America, along with an original mashup outfit, Bright Star. And little did we know, this was the start of a new trend. But before that could happen, May rolled around with a character we have been desperate to get our hands on. Just like Spider-Gwen, Miles looked exactly like he does in the films, and even got to bring Spider-Man 2099 with him. Only problem, we couldn't unmask him to play as Miguel. If only we knew there were more pressing matters, like the fact it was the final Marvel collab of 2023. Yeah, in May. It was time for a break that lasted nearly a year, taking us into 2024 and Chapter 5. This was for a reason, with Epic saving all potential collabs for something huge. We get to that shortly, but they also realized just how long we have been waiting. To keep Marvel fans satisfied, they came out with a bundle fans have been wanting for years. It was finally time to complete the Guardians of the Galaxy. In a single bundle, we can now play as Drax, young adult Groot, and Mantis. More MCU outfits join them with the Thor Ragnarok pack, revealing Sakaran Champion Hulk, and of course, Hela. It wasn't the only set they needed to complete. Loki Season 2 was around the corner, and to appreciate it, we can now play as Loki, God of Stories. All of the players who missed his crew pack all those years ago could add him to the locker, along with Sylvie and Miss Minutes. Things began to step up when it came to Season 3 though, as we got our first Marvel Secret skin in years. Magneto was here, this time designed to fit the Wasteland season and appease storyline fans. In fact, he would become essential to the story, getting his own NPC with dialogue and building rift beacons on the island. Fans love this, especially because his mythic could destroy enemies.
Magneto!
And the storyline developed even further with a bunker appearing on the map. It was up to Magneto to break it open and see what's inside. And little do we know, this was all related to Marvel. Trapped in the bunker was Weapon X, giving us yet another Wolverine outfit. Funny enough, he wasn't the only Wolverine in the Wasteland season, but I'll get to that soon, because this bunker was also teasing another creation. In this broken tank, players found one thing, a banana. So not about that whole Wolverine thing. With the latest Deadpool movie grossing over $1 billion, they had to bring Wade back after all these years. Fans have been desperate to play as him after missing out on the Battle Pass in Chapter 2, so they dropped the unique bundle, giving us Deadpool and Wolverine in pen and ink style. And the best part came shortly after. Marvel collabs were officially starting to make their way back again, and now it was in full throttle, handing us X-Men 97 outfits just before the biggest announcement of all. It was now 4 whole years since the season that broke the internet, and Epic were about to do it again. Fresh mythics, POIs, and a full Marvel Battle Pass, it was time to re-experience the feeling of the original season. Instead of Galactus, we'd be squaring up against an even more powerful enemy, Doctor Doom. He was here with a fresh redesign focused around his total power. Instead of having superhero-themed POIs, everything on the map was based on absolute doom. From Latveria to his castle, you couldn't escape him. A few weeks later, he would take over Loot Island with only a 5% chance of appearing. If you were lucky enough to find this, which by the way most people weren't, you'd unlock the Ultra Doom armor. Yes, a 2024 version of Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet. We didn't just get classic Marvel characters, Fortnite wanted to add their own spin on things. So in the Battle Pass, we got Wolverine and Captain Jones, and they were just the first of multiple mashup skins, such as Meowtooth, Ghost Rider, and Fishpool. And of course, the item shop also included some unique outfits, like Iron Spider and the return of Tony Stark with Iron Man 45. Some fans were shocked to see an Age of Ultron outfit in the year 2024, but it was pretty awesome to get a non-Battle Pass exclusive skin in the first place. Not to mention, he came with the coolest mythics possible.
Yes!
We were also treated to Black Cat, which has been selling like crazy, despite the fact she's not even in the MCU yet. So if you think about it, this season felt like a milestone. With Marvel being the first crossover in Fortnite to now, it was time for Epic to mark the occasion. Where did all of this begin? That's with an LTM, of course, and that's when Fortnite announced their next update, the Day of Doom.
And today will forever be known as Doomsday.
Just like the Infinity War and Endgame modes that started this whole thing, we could fight Doom or join him in a tense battle. Little did we know, it felt more like a practice run for the real fight, as Doom was plotting something on the BR map. At his tower, he was planning to summon Mephisto.
Powering up. Almost there. Power holding steady at 50%. Last beacon is online. T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, let him have it! How is it still standing?
Those who dare stand against me will pay the price.
Brace for impact!
We had to fight a huge Dr. Doom who had 2 trillion health. The entire community was forced to work together as the grand finale of this whole Marvel season, spending an hour taking down his health in regular matches. But luckily, it all worked out, as we weakened him enough to finally defeat Marvel's greatest villain. And so as we look to the future, we realize this history isn't over, and with plenty more arrivals around the corner, we are currently in the golden age of Marvel and Fortnite. You see them in the item shop, you can support us by using code T5G if you buy them. It's been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.